by those who created it.
Grunge is commercial garbage.
Hyped by those who could make money from it.
Check this out. This is insane. Wow, it's like $80 for like a flannel shirt.
And worshipped by those who saw its reflection in themselves.
It was one of those rare, perfect moments in rock and roll where everything seemed right with the world for a change.
Grunge transformed a group of Seattle misfits into worldwide superstars.
It was like the Beatles, you know? It's like Nirvana mania.
Then self-destructed almost as soon as it began.
Kurt's death just seemed to take the wind out of everybody's sails.
10 years after the release of Nirvana's breakthrough album, VH1 and Spin magazine look back on the sound and fury that changed the face of music. Next, a VH1 news special, Grunge.
Hold on, fellas. The roller coaster ride is about to begin.
Heavy sound born of geographic isolation, boredom, and economic despair. The grunge revolution begins in Seattle, Washington.
Seattle was a really weird place because it was sort of the one city that not many bands made their way up to Seattle.
We were just kind of left to our own devices to create our own community.
It has a lot to do with cold weather and bad weather and people staying in garages and making a lot of noise because they don't want to go outside.
Depressed, blue collar, lots of taverns, lots of drunken behavior on all levels of society.
We vandalized, skipped school, smoked pot, smoked cigarettes, and that's about it. Listen to music.
They liked it loud, fast, and abrasive.
We liked Venom, Black Flag,
Black Sabbath, the Rolling Stones, Creedence Clearwater,
Dinosaur Jr.,
the MC5, Sonic Youth, R.E.M., Husker Du, Stooges,
Motorhead.
That was Mucus Army.
Still am.
Inspired, they formed bands of their own, fusing the sonic distortion of metal with the onstage chaos of punk.
Punk rock explosion is what got me interested in the whole idea that I was going to be able to do it. I had a chance.
Everyone was doing it entirely for the reason that they liked music.
We didn't know, or at least I didn't know, that something was going on. It was just what we were doing.
Crowds, mostly fellow musicians, began turning out to see bands like Skin Yard, the U-Men, the Fastbacks, and the Melvins.
The Melvins really gave everyone a kick in the ass.
Take the Melvins out of the equation, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, and Nirvana might all be a little different.
There's a lot of genius going on there, whether it be educated genius or just organic, who knows.
By 1986, many bands had enough material to record entire albums, but few could afford studio time. So a local producer put out a compilation called Deep Six.
Deep Six compilation is a really good snapshot of what was happening here.
There were 6 bands, U-Men, Green River, Soundgarden, Skin Yard, the Melvins, and Malfunction. There was enough of a similarity between those bands to sort of define what was going on in Seattle.
It was the first real slab of vinyl that announced to the world that, hey, we've got this wild and crazy and energetic scene.
Along the way, somebody decided to call it grunge.
I don't know exactly who made it up. I mean, it does fit, you know. It just sounded like grunge.
Everybody's music at the time was just so guitar and heavy and grungy, I guess. I don't know who coined the term, but it was kind of perfect.
The guys in Mudhoney were like, it's grunge. You know, it's kind of a joke, I thought. And then it kind of stuck.
I have tracked it down to Mark Arm calling his own group pure grunge, pure
Grunge is dirt. It's scum. It's a descriptive word that's used to describe like this raspy sounding rock.
The heavy sound soon caught the ear of Bruce Pavitt and Jonathan Poneman, 2 guys who loved music but knew they couldn't play. They decided to start their own label, Sub Pop.
Well, Bruce and I knew exactly what we were doing from the beginning. No, we had no clue. I decided to break my piggy bank, and he decided to hold up a couple of convenience stores, and we pulled our money together, and we said, let's make it go.
One of the first records they released was Soundgarden's Screaming Life in October 1987.
The first time I saw Soundgarden, they were amazing, and it was an incredible, thunderous experience.
I was just blown away just by Chris, and came in here, I just thought it was just totally unique, totally original.
To me, they were heavy. They were a 70s heavy band. Long hair, jamming, Zeppelin. That's what they sounded like, and they were good at it.
By the fall of 1988, Sub Pop had put out records by half a dozen bands, including Green River, a group that embodied the two extremes of the Seattle sound.
Green River was actually hugely influential. I think they were for sure the beginnings of what came later.
They really sort of crystallized the scene.
Green River frontman Mark Arm and guitarist Steve Turner had staunch indie ideals. Guitarist Stone Gossard and bassist Jeff Ament had arena-sized ambitions.
Part of the band was real glammy looking and acting, and the other part of the band was like real punk and raw. A little bit of metal here and there. There's that grunge influence thing again, whatever that is.
The conflict symbolized the scene's dueling influences and foreshadowed the turmoil success would bring. It split Green River in half.
Some of the musicians wanted to go further toward the pop metal side, particularly Jeff Ament.
They just wanted to try to make it music one way or another, you know. But, I mean, we never did. I mean, there was definitely a difference in opinion, for sure, and Green River fell apart because of that.
Staying true to their punk rock roots, Mark Arm and Steve Turner formed Mudhoney.
Mudhoney was Mark Arm's attempt to get back to the pop-punk side of things.
I thought, well, this Mudhoney band, now that's right up my alley. I can relate to that totally.
They helped bring back the elements of tight songwriting and sardonic wit.
We thought Mudhoney was just going to be another little short-lived project and maybe get a single out. And then I'd go back to school. That was the plan.
You never did.
Stone Gossard and Jeff Ament began playing with Malfunction's flamboyant frontman Andy Wood. Eventually, they formed a band called Mother Love Bone.
Mother Love Bone had the potential to go the furthest at that time. Andy's showmanship was just second coming, you know. Elvis squared.
I thought Andy was just a natural front man, tons of charisma.
He was already somebody that people there were really responding to because he was kind of interesting and he was very rock and roll.
Mother Love Bone seemed poised to break the scene wide open.
Mother Love Bone was a deliberate attempt to create a band that would be popular, that would break through and do the arena tours.
They soon became the biggest band in Seattle, orchestrating a major label bidding war that got them a deal with Polygram.
Getting signed it's a step, and it's great, of course. Better than washing dishes, better than licking boots. By the way, you have nice boots.
The smart money certainly would have been on Mother Love Bone to be the ones to break, and that they were going to be the ones to take this whole community with them and really introduce what was happening in Seattle to the rest of the world.
I definitely realized touring in a van is not what I want to do. I want a bus. I need a bus. Quickly.